Despite living out in the middle of nowhere, on a 400-acre farm, we've still had problems with someone coming into our house, moving stuff around and occasionally taking something like trash bags or food. It started in early 2016. We would be laying in bed and hear stuff being moved around in the middle of the night. But by the time we got up and about, no one was there. Damage was done to our old front door after someone tried to get in. Several times we would come home to the front door hanging open. This behavior isn't constant. It actually only happens once, twice every couple of months. Last month I heard a car door shut in the middle of the night, and when we checked, the lights were on inside. Our motion detector lights outside are tripped at all hours of the night. Well, I saw this person for the first time last night. It was only a glimpse, and they were wearing dark clothes. By the time my husband got out there, they were gone again. I don't know where they go, but they always run. We hear them running sometimes, down the left side of our house out towards the field. There are woods beyond that. Okay, today I had my music playing over in a speaker in the kitchen while I jumped in the shower. Not 4 to 6 minutes after I got in, I heard my music shut off suddenly. I had a really bad feeling, but I also felt like I should just stay in the locked bathroom, and I'm glad I did. My music had been paused, my phone moved completely, my front door was hanging open, there was mud on my floor. I've always had an issue with anxiety, and I'm kind of a paranoid person anyway, so it's super hard for me to attempt to stay calm. My husband will be home soon, and keeps texting to make sure everything is okay, and I'm not stressing too bad, because it's not good for the baby. So creepy guy who's been stalking my house and doesn't like music, let's not meet again. Well, first of all, I'm sorry if my English isn't the best, but I'm from Italy, and I learned it on my own. This is my first time writing here. I'm going to tell you this strange episode from my childhood. I was 9 to 10 years old. I used to go to school on my own, just walking. It wasn't that far, like a 10-minute walk. Every day I went the same way. It was the shortest, but it was isolated. I was walking alone as always, when I noticed a police car coming on my left. There was a middle-aged man, obviously a policeman, who slowed down and started talking to me. He said something like, "Hey kid, are you going to school?" And I said yes. He kept driving near me and asked if I wanted to get in the car so he could take me to school faster. I said no, and that my mom always told me not to talk with strangers. He said, "I'm not a stranger. I'm a policeman. You can trust me." I thanked him and told him there was no problem, because school wasn't that far. He insisted. So we sped up a little bit, went in front of me and opened the car door. Come on, it will be fun to take a ride in the police car. It's almost every children's dream. That's when I said once again, "No, please leave me alone." He kept the car door open staring at me, and then I started to walk faster, till I went down a little street. Then I started to run to the point where I didn't even see the car behind me. I was shocked. I was very young, you know. That policeman had a weird smile. Very disturbing, like almost unnatural. Since that day, I never took that way again, and my mom started to come with me for the first few mornings to school. I never realized what he wanted, or if he had good or bad intentions. Just taking advantage of the fact he was a policeman, so kids would trust him more easily. I'm happy, though, that I never discovered what was on his mind. Who knows? Well, strange policeman. let's not meet again. This happened to my dad 10 years ago. Nothing too crazy, but I was relatively young at the time, so it creeped me out. We lived in a smallish city, in a residential neighborhood about 20 minutes from the downtown. It was summer, and my dad was up late writing. Around 3 a.m. he saw a male and female, anywhere from 25 to 30 years old, walking down the street. They walked right up our driveway into our front door, possibly because they saw a light on inside, and knocked on the door. My dad was already suspicious of their plans and decided not to open the door. Our door had a large glass window on it, and if you spoke loudly enough, you could hear someone on the other side. My dad asked them what they wanted, and they asked to come inside. My dad, of course, refuses, but the couple asks if he could call them a cab. My dad says okay, and the couple again asks if they can come inside. My dad says no and tells them to go wait out at the end of the driveway. My dad then turns away from the door, shuts off all the lights in the house. He never called a cab, but went to the window to watch the couple. They walked to the end of the driveway, appear to have a conversation, then walk down the road and out of sight. I can understand someone asking for a cab if you live near a bar or a restaurant, but like I said, we're 20 minutes away from any bar. Our neighborhood was mostly young families, and it was very safe. We had a few incidents of people going through our cars at night if we left them unlocked, but that was it. I was asleep the whole time this was happening. When my dad recounted the tale in the morning, it definitely spooked me. Afterwards, if I woke up in the middle of the night, I would have a difficult time getting back to sleep. My neighbors ended up having a break-in a few months after this incident, so we decided to get an alarm system for the house. It definitely helps me sleep at night. To the couple looking for a house to rob, I hope nobody else meets you in the middle of the night. This happened about 2 years ago. I'm a 21-year-old female, and I was a junior in college, living in a small apartment off campus with one female roommate. We were both busy students and rarely home at the same time. One afternoon, I was sitting at home by myself, working on a project. A white truck that I didn't recognize pulls into the parking lot, which I can see from my window. I think nothing of it until I hear a knock at the door. A man, maybe in his mid-50s, bearded with white overalls that were dirty, and he had a white cap on. I opened the door a bit without letting him in. Hello? Hi, I'm with the realty company that owned the property. We're doing a routine check of the smoke detector batteries and air filters. Now this was strange to me, since this check had just been done a few months prior, and we weren't due for another one yet. Additionally, the property manager always called ahead at least 24 hours, per our lease agreement, to let us know the contractors they hired to do this stuff were coming, and we hadn't been informed. I asked what contracting company he was with, and if he had any identification on him, since his truck was unmarked, and neither his hat nor his shirt had any kind of logo on them. I don't usually carry that stuff around with me. My name's Charlie. It'll only take a few minutes. We're doing all the units in the area. It was still suspicious to me. He should have at least something to identify himself. I had that gut feeling that you get when something just isn't right. I told him I didn't feel comfortable letting him in, and if he came back with ID, I would feel much better. He got visibly angry but agreed to come back later. He got in the truck and drove off, without getting into any of the other apartments, like he said he was going to. Heart pounding, I immediately shut and locked the door and called my roommate. She agreed it was weird and suggested I call our property manager. I don't recall sending anyone to that property today or recently. Here's the number for our contractor. Why don't you give him a call? When I called the contracting company and described the man, they said that not only did they not have anyone on that route today or anytime soon, but they also did not have a single employee by that name, or that looked anything like the man I described. They said I should probably call the police if it happens again. I was on edge for weeks, but he never returned. I don't want to think about what his intentions were. Entering the apartment of a college girl all by herself. Creepy contractor. Let's never meet again. Thank you guys for listening. Please make sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe to The Sinful Society. This is A Sinful Savant. Thank you for your support, kind words. Plenty more to come in 2018. You know what to do. Stay sinful.